Well, good morning and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jeff, and this channel is about living life after you've had bypass surgery. As I promised in my first video, I wanted to share some of my experience with you. I think that's only fair if we're going to generate a space here for others to comment and share their experiences and what was different about their surgeries. So I want to do that here this morning a little bit, touch on some things. I want to first say that my surgery was really unremarkable. There weren't any difficulties that I'm aware of. I ended up with a double bypass, but what led up to that, I think, may have been a little bit different. I was actually training for a big hike. I had aspirations after retirement of hiking the Appalachian Trail, which is 2,200 miles long in the Appalachian Mountains, of course. And I was training about 5 days a week, hiking somewhere between 5 and 7 miles a day. Now, I hadn't started loading weight and pushing the miles out at that point in time, but I was in the early stages of training, and I wasn't getting winded, and I didn't have any discomfort or anything like that would lead me to believe that I had a problem. So my brother encouraged me to get a coronary calcium scan, as he had done. So that's the only thing that really led me to believe I had an issue. And my score came back very high. So my cardiologist ordered a heart catheterization where they found the 2 blockages. So very fortunate that my brother talked me into getting that coronary calcium scan. It's a mouthful, which really highlighted a potential problem for me. So, but the good part was I wasn't experiencing any difficulties. I hadn't had a heart attack or anything like that. So, but there were 2 blockages, which stunned me given my training at that point in time and lack of any significant issues that would point to a problem. So from there, I was scheduled to meet with our surgeon, and it was a week later. I met with our surgeon, and we worked out a schedule which was going to be roughly 2 weeks from that date. I wasn't an emergency case, so to speak, but it was something that needed to get taken care of. So, but during that meeting, he already knew about the hike. His staff did a very thorough job in the background on me, and he said, "Tell me about this hike you're planning." And I said, well, I told him what it was all about, and he said, "When were you going to start?" And then I said, "March 15th," and he quickly said, "Well, you're not going to make that," which I knew going into that consultation that March 15th was not going to be doable. So they scheduled me for surgery, and my surgery was on February 3rd of 2023, roughly about 20 months after I had retired. So again, my surgery was, rather unremarkable, no difficulties that I'm aware of, and I spent 4 days in the hospital the day of the surgery, and then 3 days after the surgery. What the other thing that did surprise me was the first time they got me up to walk, there was a square nurses station in the middle of the floor like a lot of hospitals have, and I could only make it around that nurses station about a quarter of the way before I got tired the first time. I just couldn't believe that, given the shape I was in. But a surgery like that and the process they go through, it does take quite a toll on your body. It takes a little time to bounce back. The good news is by the day that I checked out, 3 days after my surgery, I could make it around that nurse's station about 4 times before I'd had enough and wanted to sit down and rest. So your recovery from it, if all goes well, it happens pretty quickly in the scheme of things when you really think about it. So I get discharged 3 days after my surgery, and I'll show you a picture right here of that day. So you can see that I'm not real happy sitting in the back seat of a car with a heart pillow underneath the seat belt, but that's what was recommended, so that's what we did. So that was the day I came home, 3 days after surgery. And then I had to wait about 30 days before I could enter cardiac rehab. Well, during that time, you go through the process of, walking across the floor. By the time you get home, it's pretty easy, but when you go to take a shower, I found it to be rather exhausting. So, but that 30-day period, by the time that was up and I was ready for cardiac rehab, I could go out in public. I was getting around the house fine. The exhaustion of taking a shower had pretty much passed by that point. So I entered cardiac rehab, which was 3 days a week for an hour for 12 weeks. So it was 3 months of cardiac rehab, which I rather enjoyed. The setting was good at the hospital. The nurses paid very close attention to you, wore a monitor all the time, of course, and that 3 months passed relatively quickly. I actually looked forward to, maybe it's because I'd been training for a hike, but I looked forward to getting some exercise 3 days a week in a kind of monitored situation. So once 3 months was up, it was time to get on with life, and that's really what this channel is about, getting on with life and get busy living. So that's kind of a snapshot of my experience. I'd be curious to hear whether yours was any different in any respect, and feel free to leave a comment if it was. So hoping in the next video that we'll talk about some of the changes since, not just mine, but other friends that I know have had this surgery. Though I won't get into great detail, we all have taken different paths during recovery and living life afterwards, so to speak. And I'll get into that in that next video, other changes maybe that I've made. So that's about it for this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I hope I see you again next time right here on Life After Bypass.